Okay, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. I think we've got our editors here, and then other people are rolling in as they come. So welcome to the issue 6 Apricity launch. This is our first ever live launch, which is amazing. So thank you all for making this. Apricity was founded in 2015, and we publish an annual issue of poetry, prose, fiction, art, and dance. And we're just really excited to celebrate this launch this way. What a weird year for submitting last year, and then what a weird year it is now for publishing something. So this is just kind of feels a little bit more celebratory this year. So I want to get started by letting our fantastic editors introduce themselves. First, we have two that are not able to make it today, Colby Taylor, who is our poetry and prose editor, and then Marcelo Cunha. Let me admit this person. Marcelo Cunha, who's our dance editor, and they're not able to come today, but they both send their excitement and their appreciation for all of you for making this issue what it is. So my name is Mira Mason Reeder, and I am the founder and editor-in-chief of Apricity. Let's see, Megan, next for you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Megan. I'm the fiction editor at Apricity, and I'm living in Oakland. And I actually had some of my own writing published in the inaugural issue. So I'm very, very excited to be a part of the editing team now and be here with y'all. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Megan. Darian.
Hi, I'm Darian Volk. I'm the visual arts editor. I've been with everyone since the start. Mira reached out to me because we went to college together at Mills to assist, and I'm very excited to do it this way.
Yay, thank you, Darian. Eden.
Hi everyone, I'm Eden Sugai. I am a poetry editor for Apricity Press. I too went to Mills College with Mira, and I'm really excited to launch this issue with you all.
And actually Megan went to Mills as well, so we're just kind of just a weird offshoot of Mills at this point, I guess. Colby did not go to Mills, and neither did Marcelo, so we're just representing today, but there you go. So we all put this issue together behind the scenes. We wouldn't have had anything to actually make if it wasn't for all of you. So to get started with actually going through, I'm going to show you, let me share my screen. And I'm just going to show you, can everybody see that? Okay, great. So this is our agenda for today. Pretty straightforward. Our welcome just happened. We're going to have the contributor readings, and then the issue will be launched officially. So these are our editors. And then these are our contributors. So we have 24 contributors for this issue, which is incredible. We had over 300 people submit. So that is a very great group that we kind of narrowed it down to here. And we have from this group, I believe 12 or 13 people here today reading, which is great, or who have sent in videos. So now to start us off, add some more people to the wait room. There we go. To start us off, I am going to play a little snippet from our dance piece. Bear with me as technical things come together. All right. And this piece is from Theresa Felian, who's not able to be here today, but I wanted to show a little bit of it. It's 8 minutes long. It's on our YouTube channel, so you can watch it later. It's also actually in the issue, of course, and on our website, but here is a little snip of that. This seems like a natural spot to stop. But as you can see, it's absolutely incredible. Please go and watch that when you have a chance. It is linked actually in the PDF of the issue on the website. It's in the website and it's on YouTube, multiple opportunities. All right, so we have our next writer up, who Eden, I think, is introducing.
Yes, next up is Theodora Saronian.
Perfect. Let me open this up.
Hello, greetings from Kazakhstan. Thank you to Apricity Press for including my poems in issue 6. And thank you so much to Mira for being a wonderful point person. I'm sorry I can't be there all with you live today. I'm going to read 2 poems. The first one is called Practice. In a different hemisphere, my father reads a book about rain, lies restless night after night, thinking about the best way to paint a gray sky. Mornings, he peels an egg over the sink, watches the cats hunt, the clouds shift. Autostradas undulatas, autocumulus flocus, noctilucent for those thin tresses only visible when the sun has fallen just below the horizon. Night shining. A gift, this affection for our frail taxonomies. He promised when the world abandoned me, when we had all abandoned each other, a story, a word, even a single letter could do. Sailors wrote songs about the sky, prayed to figureheads, animal and women. Without a familiar to worship, a ship was surely doomed. Fishermen often refused to learn to swim, not wanting to prolong the inevitable. Never call a fish by its proper name, or to name something is to love it. Some would even watch while others drowned, unwilling to deprive the sea of its catch, afraid it would return instead for their own family. I haven't spoken to my father in a month, haven't called him by his name. Terrified this afternoon, is it possible this is the first time I've written to survive myself? He'd tell me it doesn't matter, the question, the answer, only the waiting and what comes after. Hampton Beach. The city is a diving bell of heat and car exhaust, and so we abandon it. We leave it all behind for a purple minivan filled with beer and sandwiches. We are all so concerned in our own ways about redemption, what we are to make of ourselves. The sky is a painful blue, and we crawl along the highway toward a state I never thought of as origin, but for the lack of anywhere else to drive the stake of memory through. The road is narrow and goes straight through the gardens of paradise. And then I'm there, stretched on a beach on a beautiful day in the middle of the black hole of my 20s, surrounded by God's children, all the tattoos and muscle shirts, the unanchored umbrellas, and the metallic tang of fried food, and the teenagers, little girls with breasts hard as unripened fruit, wearing t-shirts that scream in neon, sluts like to party. I imagine each day here is a never-ending weekend, full of conversations that reach depths no further than the preferred architecture of a potato chip. Flat, ridged, extreme ridged. All the world wants from me here is the desire and attainment of the disregard for anything but desire. And if I agree to the potential physics of the universe, in a way, I'm visiting Hampton Beach, but I'm also here forever. There will always be a version of me sitting here in this hot light, worryless and benign, a dark plum in my hand, the flesh, the color of some animal tissue, some slick, vibrant muscle. The clouds above, nothing more than tiny islands in an otherwise unencumbered sky. Thank you.
All right. Next, we have Andrew Davidson Novosevsky. Novosevsky. Did I get it right? My name is always mispronounced, so I'm sorry if I did it.
It was really good. Yeah, Novosevsky is the last one. Yeah. So the poem that I'm going to read today is called "The Taste of Freedom." A boarded up kiosk called "The Taste of Freedom" is what I think about when I think about house pets. One time my dog bit me and I bled in his mouth. He never started eating people, but I bet he thought about it all the time. Thank you.
Thank you. That is, every time I read that, I immediately I can't help but smile. That was even better to hear out loud. Thank you.
Thank you again for all you're doing at Apricity Press. It's wonderful.
Thank you. Okay.
And up next, we'll have Hannah Radke.
Abroad from a dream. The hotel erupts into being. Cheap wallpaper planets stop spinning, and someone has written your name on the backside of the headboard. You aren't awake yet, though morning comes like a symbol through the open window. The ceiling comes down. Outside, the sky is glass, and I feel bad for leaving. As in waking life, I look only partly like myself. I walk toward the sunset, but its edges fold into the creases of the sky and curve into the moon. Sleep would be nice, but I have too much thinking to do. In a month, I forget your mouth. How quickly absence falls into death. "3 a.m. friends. Away from the airport, Boston is flat night that doesn't drop. Somehow, sleeping in the terminal wasn't transcendent or romantic, but there's promise in a 24-hour diner and its false day. There's a college boy in line, Drew. We are both alone and need a reason to not call the night dull. Everyone who has 3 a.m. friends flocks wide-eyed to the jukebox, red splinter against the wall. We talk about nothing. His soft face laughs easily. They flip pancakes in front of us and we eat breakfast at this ungodly hour like they do in the movies. Perhaps if it were raining, we could be real together. 4 days come and go. Every year I miss the last year more.
All right. Next up, we have Gillian Lee. I'm getting her video here together as well. It would help if I press play, probably, right? There we go.
Hello, my name is Gillian, and I am so happy to be a part of the live launch. From the past, in the future. First, I'm going to read my poem, Koala Fable, which is inspired, at least in part, by a true story. Koala Fable. The koala animal eats cool green eucalyptus all day long. This is a koala poem, not an allegory for the homosexual experience, though the reader may enjoy the poem in any way they wish, in any company. A woman says to her beautiful koala friends, I don't like the taste of toothpaste. Whenever I fuck someone for the first time, he brushes his teeth, I ask him to please rinse his mouth out afterwards extra well so I don't taste it. Her friends look at each other, and the brave one replies, I have absolutely no idea what you are saying to me. Big wet tears in her little brown eyes. Thank you. Next, I'd like to read my poem, Ode to Danny, and this will be my last poem today. Ode to Danny. I'm drinking oat milk and reading whoever wrote the book I spent $12 on and finished in 10 minutes. So you know how old I am. Older than oat milk, but young enough to drink it. My friend, take my hand. I have not cared about anyone's problems since my brother died. But an adorable stranger hugged me, and I thought, maybe I'll love someone shorter than me for the first time in my life. I want to. That is, I actually want to sit across from you and hear about your mom. I haven't felt that way in a long time. Danny, have a caramel on me. I am a treat. Enjoy. If you're stressed out, do the following. Rinse out the inside of your nose with a terrible blue teapot named Nettie. Have a slice of a fruit, take a vitamin. Enjoy a fine dining experience. Wonder if you need glasses. Outside, outside the window are the branches of the trees held and waving on the backs of the horses of the breeze. What is worrisome? Oh, yes, all of it. Count the branches, it will matter. You are a human being. You are meant to count branches and weep and hold and watch useless television. More television has been made than you will ever watch. It is not your plate to watch it. It is not mine. Or watch your own tiny sliver of it. My sliver is shark programming. I have seen all of it, but I'll look no further. I am not afraid. I love my shark programming. Every July, there is more. Sharks are endless. It's very exciting for science that they keep finding uglier sharks. On my birthday, they found the ugliest shark of all. It was a gift from God to science, to me, on my birthday. Hello, wake up, called the telephone. They've discovered the ugliest shark. I barely turned 24 an hour ago. There is hope for us yet, I supposed aloud, gently laying my telephone to rest on its little bed, and then laid down my tired and precious head. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much to Apricity Press, and thank you so much to all of the other poets and artists who are here today. And I hope you have a fabulous Saturday. And thank you so much.
Next, for our contributors, we have Lucas Khan. And I hope I pronounced that the way you'd like.
That was perfect. Thank you. I'm reading my poem called Blue and Green, which is an allusion to a Miles Davis song. Blue and Green. It is a gift not to see the news on my chart, that my MRI is on a compact disc in my hands, and CDs are vestigial, that my insides rend apart on the rainbow patterned surface. It is a gift how words like every step of the way taste like anesthesia, forgetting the height of each stair. The chair by the window is empty. Bedside flowers wax pestilence, although the petals are beautiful and young. It is a gift how you are nowhere to be found. I lured a woman into my wound as if she could make me whole. I meant to say, you shouldn't step inside me. This body is crumbling. I didn't see the fissures in my heart, in my palms clutching your waist. The word compassion comes from the word wound, as in, to create is to open a door of pain. On our first date, we swayed like flames in the kitchen. We opened all the doors in the house. This disease eats, dissolves my temporal lobe into fluent aphasia. I keep meaning to say that I'm spilling out on the pavement, that joy gets lost in the cataract of my blind eye, but I mostly remain silent. not knowing how to speak. Sometimes when I laugh, I break wide open. I need to escape from my unlocked cage. The door is ajar. I find that absence can also fill the body like a truant cure. A curse. I sent you away. My body hasn't broken down yet. Why not? On nights when only a few lights burn in Atlanta, the sirens soften. I still taste mint cigarette and bourbon. Hear blue and green in the kitchen and dance. My hands on your waist, my hands holding air. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucas. All right, next we have Michael Quigg.
Hello. Hope you guys can hear me okay. Cool. Perfect. Thank you for having me. I'm going to be reading my poem, Avoiding the Daily News at Night. Keeping the hallowed things tidy, dusting shelves, fluffing chocolate brown couch cushions, placing everything organizable into alphabetical orders, returning lost toys to patient cats, being here, although the stars in this space burn in different feelings than the distance between their celestial siblings. I can lie here and feel the same shades before I throw my phone across the room, aiming for the carpet, instead hitting the polished wood on the dining room. Nothing cracks, but all the living things nearby jump in wide-eyed surprise. One of the cats makes a comment about breaking stuff apart. But nothing is cracked or scratched or battered. It's all fine now. Let me keep tidying the hallowed things, dusting from unuse the shelves, fluffing together and ornament chocolate brown couch cushions, create the borrowed time. Thank you.
Up next, we have a video from Giada Rotundo.
Okay. And this is small, so let me see if I can make it bigger. Is that what that does? Nope. Nope. Give me 1 second, everyone. I swear I know how to do stuff. It just occasionally happens later than I want it to. Okay. We'll just play it small. That's fine. Does that look small to everybody? Is it like a weird little small one, or can you, it looks fine? Okay. Okay, just me. Okay, so that video too originally had sound. Giada's from Italy, and it had sound, and then I think something got it got updated and the sound got removed. But you can always find her Instagram and listen to her speak that as well if you would like to. I apologize. I meant to add live captions at the beginning of this, and I just got too excited, so I forgot. But they are there now. So next up, we have Vin Corbet.
Hi, I'm really grateful to be here. Thanks so much to Apricity Press for inviting me. It's my first live launch, so it's really exciting for me. I will be reading a short poem called Absidarian. As if by flash flood, suddenly cold, done with this, or so it seems, except when sick, you are fond of me. It flips like a rain-bred fish, gutter bather I, hung on to this, something, for dear life, indecisive at best, pest, just for you, perfect known enemy. Love is jaded and wet, galoshes meant for play, muddy bled and no don't step on the rug, a mess. Pesky because it requires questioning what you do, never-ending, rut. This rut I've been in, stuffed up, angry, at times near rabid. It's tiring. Enough of this undertow. You leave without me. I wash from the rain, which I do nowadays. Very easy to keep moving for you, wherever. Damp, I listened. There was no rain. I'm too zenial for your flip-flop. It's all coming down, a rain game. 0 to what? It hardly matters. I pour endlessly. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Gerard Cabrera.
Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Apricity Press, and all the other contributors. This is also my first live launch, so I hope you enjoy this short story I'm about to read. It's a very short story called Disorder Under Heaven. The situation is excellent. Mario's stroke had created a big revolú in Elvin's life. More than la muerte de mamá, but less than Luis. There he went again, making comparisons. Why did he have to put things in order like that? ¿Quién sufrió más, mamá o Luis? Cancer or AIDS? Como si fuera una competencia, as if it were a competition. Look at him. Look at my man, babeando when he isn't careful. Que calentón. He pulled out a rainbow bandana to wipe his sweat, then Mario's. Mario could walk a little, but it was easier to push him in the wheelchair with all the crowds. They had met at Bear Pride in Provincetown 10 years ago, thanks to Elvin's pelt. Whoever invented bears deserved to be Grand Marshal of the Stonewall people forever and ever. Por los siglos de los siglos, amen. But sex had to be adjusted. It now had to be enough to hold Mario and listen to his heart and his strokey love talk. He knew it was love talk from the tone, and sometimes he could make out a few words. There was rehab and PT and OT and pills to manage, appointments and finding parking, ramps, elevators, grab bars, bath mats, homemades, machines. Where was the fun? No one could tell him. What was going to happen? He thought he had paid his dues. Did he deserve to go through this all over again? He felt shitty thinking about it. And what did deserving have to do with it? He should concentrate on the good times they had shared together. Not even planned, just happening, whenever. He supposed it was good they had lived that way. Did Mario remember? He tried to ask him about it a few times. Remember Montreal? Wilton Manor? A nod. What good is a memory when you can't discuss it with the person who made it with you? Elvin looked around. Too much rain and 100 degrees in the sun. Plastic in the fish they ate and plastic in the water they drank. El mundo se estaba acabando. They were the lucky ones. They didn't have a Hurricane Maria to wipe them out yet. One day soon, the city would have its own disaster, and then everyone would have the same blue tarp to cover themselves and ask, why me? And how did this happen? The parade came to a stop to let the crosstown traffic through, a break from the pushing. They were on 6th Avenue, and behind them were a contingent called the Historical Marys, with big cardboard signs. 100 years ago, Elvin could be hung, stoned, castrated, beheaded, imprisoned, tortured, fired from his job, or be refused service in a store, all with the blessings of the church, state, and fellow citizens. But today, the signs were signs of change. Federal funding for AIDS in 1990, sodomy laws overturned in 2003, and gay marriage in 2015. Conversion therapy and gay panic had been banned just this year. Progress. In the 70s at the University of Puerto Rico, he had studied history and been a member of a Maoist independentista student group. But his love of faggotry and Luis was stronger than the macho viva Puerto Rico libreism of those times, and he and Luis had both left the island to join another vanguard, Manhattan, with its bars and discotheques and delicious wildness. And he had never regretted it. But lately he had been having doubts, dark pensamientos about prognosis, about overdose, about using a pillow. But every time he pictured it, the whole thing seemed like a fraud. 25 years ago, he had marched down the same avenue with Luis. Now it was 50 years of gay pride and so much time had passed, pero pa qué? Just to be in the same position as all the straight people he thought he was so much better than? Now he was in the same boat with people who hadn't cared if he was tattooed or quarantined or cured or saved. Now everybody was equal. What did it mean? He had always thought history kept moving toward progress in cycles, claro, but always in a forward direction. He didn't understand it, but the parade had begun to move, the vuvuzelas and the drums calling everyone to a sort of chaotic togetherness, like a symphony without a conductor. And he and Mario, in their matching Marge Simpson wigs, were going to rumba, salsa, merengue, bachata all the rest of the way. Thank you very much. From Brooklyn.
The car horns actually really accented it. That was really great. Okay, next up we have Porsha Allen.
Hello, I am going to be reading a small piece called A Conversation. Are you happy? She asked. Sometimes I said, but I can't explain this to my mother because she is sad too and doesn't want to be alive any more than I do. Sometimes I think that our children are merely her mistakes that found out where she lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Jeffrey Husky Valerius.
I'm Jeffrey Husky Valerius, and this is The Old Man and His Strawberry Jam. As he stared into the Atlantic, the old man no longer saw its bellying waves. What had once been thick globs of strawberry preserves oozing across the horizon was now simply a stale slab of bread, giant in its loneliness. Gulls cawed above, searching to be satiated. This was the precipice of his death. He dug into his corduroys and pulled out his beloved jar of Smucker's seedless strawberry jam, his wife's, from the day she left, grunting through the rheumatism like great pearly mountains rising from his knuckles. Seconds stretched into a full minute till the red and white checkerboard cut. How had he gotten here? A lifetime of melancholy swirled into half a decade of unbearable heartbreak, as if with the back of a spoon. A spoon. As a boy, he'd found it easier to use a spoon instead of a butter knife, like he'd always watched his mother do, to spread the peanut butter and jelly across the bread. It was just a preference, the way his father preferred his brother over him. Gin, neat forefingers over dessert, his open palm over his belt. He met his wife in college. Up until then, botany had been his great passion. He'd spent much of his youth walking through gardens, drawing or photographing the plants, and later learning their origins, their taxonomies. Fairy, 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 his father bit through cigarette smoke. He applied for business school instead. Thanks to a pretty girl who distracted him from his antitrust and inflation rates, though, he flunked Economics 101 and had to retake it. When he failed again, he dropped out and stayed with a pretty girl. Several years later, his pigtailed daughter was too embarrassed to invite him to career day. You just sell stupid candles for a living. Fuming, wordless, he went downstairs to feel his shame with a sandwich. Some of the strawberry jam got onto his finger and he licked it off. So impossibly sweet, like all the candy of the world in one lick. He hadn't had a PB&J since boyhood and had forgotten how delicious they were. It reminded him of his mother, a pastel wash of colors, a string of pearls around her neck, telling him to ignore the bullies at school, to forget the big bully at home. His wife was the one who had them switch from grape to strawberry. We're a sophisticated strawberry family now, she'd said, returning from the store one Sunday. That's so, he'd smirked, and she dug out a thumbful for him to taste, fresh from her warm skin. Tastes fine to me, but I may need some more. Years passed. His daughter birthed a daughter of her own. He and his wife retired to a breezy coastal town in Maine, where the water could freeze your bones year-round. His wife's heart began to fail, and with it came legs twice their size, as though all her blood had sunk and never resurfaced. Within a few years, she couldn't walk, and by the time she was terminal, she needed more and more oxygen from a tank to compensate for the sludge her insides had become. In her hospice bed, she had the silliest request, but he couldn't possibly refuse. Go out and get me all the fixings for the greatest PB&J in the world, would you? He bought seedless jam for her choppers and all natural peanut butter, because even though she was dying, he couldn't justify giving her anything second rate. He even bought a package of apple slices he'd found by the produce. You've got to get your strength up, he imagined telling her. When he came back, the nurse was relieving the oxygen meter on the wall and then removed the mask from his beloved. I'm so sorry, she said, through the blur filling the room. He had never felt anything so cold in his life, not even the raucous Maine sea, as when he bent down to touch his face to hers. He felt his chest crumple into a used, ripped, forgotten paper bag. When the nurse left him to grieve, he opened the peanut butter and the jam and the apples. The sandwich was soaked with snot, but he placed it on her hardened belly anyway. I won't go on. He did go on, for 5 years longer than he'd thought. Through a bout with shingles that felt like being burned alive, the loss of his license after he rear-ended a patrol car, the growth of little rheumatic tumors on his knuckles, rendering him unable to spread his fingers. After each grievance, he bought a new jar of strawberry jam and carried it around in his pocket. He would pry it open using his fingers, claws by the end, to eat glob after glob, as if a child discovering finger paint. It reminded him there was still sweetness in the world, however temporary. Now he lifted the lid that his fingers had worked so hard to twist. The same jam he'd bought her, the one he'd buried in the fridge and forgotten about once he became busy making her arrangements. It stung his nostrils like ammonia. The checkerboard lid dropped, a clang and clatter as it sashayed down the cliff rocks at his feet. He forced himself to look, a constellation of mold, white and green and purple fuzzballs, burst in a web across the rim. Waves were somersaulting on the rocks now. Was it possible? Just a minute ago, they were quiet as death. Had it only been a minute, perhaps it had been a dream. Yes, it was possible. The wind was picking up now. It was as if his breath had replaced all the air, as if in this decisive moment, he was no longer breathing and he was the air, one with it. Wisps of his white hair flew back and forth, wings trying to flap away, away. Thank you.
All right. So next up, we have Athiya Dass, and I really hope I got that right. Great. So I'm going to play Athiya's video first. This is a visual poetry piece. And it's the first visual poetry piece we've ever published, so thank you.
জলের ভেতরেও থাকে। ভেবে দেখেছ? রাত্রে যেমন সমুদ্র ঝিলিক দেয় বা স্বপ্ন চমকে ওঠে তারার, ওরা কবিতা ফেরি করে। এক শরীর থেকে অন্য শরীর, এক অঙ্গ থেকে অন্য প্রত্যঙ্গ, এক প্রান্ত থেকে অন্য প্রান্তর। ভেবে দেখেছ? জোনাকিরা কেন এত সুন্দর? বিজ্ঞান কি বলতে পেরেছে? তুমি জানতে পারলে আমায় নিশ্চয়ই জানাবে।
All right, Athiya, do you want to speak to that at all?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me over, being part of this live launch and this issue. Does anyone have any questions? It's in Bengali. That's my first tongue, which I have recited, which the poem was originally written in. And I have this inability to keep creating something in one medium. It just spills over. So the visuals and the poem coming together.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How is it translating your own poems? Because I'm a translator and I write in 2 languages, but I hate translating my own poems.
So tough. So tough. I don't think I could capture all of the original poetry when I translated it. I tried. I can still think of, even now watching it, I could feel like, oh, I could change this word, I could change it here. And it is very tough to translate.
No, but it sounds, in English, it sounded super, super fresh. The translation to me, I mean, it was excellent. Congratulations, I liked it a lot.
Thank you. I find Bengali is already a very poetic language. So when one says that the bird flew away, and in Bengali it says, Pakhita ude gelo. So there is automatically a more sing-songness, a lyricality embedded in the language. And then if I find that how do I turn it into any other, I find it with other languages as well, just the variety and the beauty of all of it is fabulous.
Yay, well, thank you. That was amazing. Thank you to everybody. Let's give everyone, you can clap, snap, or jazz hands to everybody. That was amazing. So this issue is truly stunning, as our contributors have just shown you. I want to thank everybody again who could make it today, as well as those who weren't able to make it, came by video, and all of our contributors in general. I also want to thank everyone who's ever submitted to Apricity at all. We wouldn't be here without all of those submissions, and it blows me away that we are in our 6th year. So we're getting stronger by the minute. So it's just very amazing. Thank you all. So issue 6 is officially live. I actually brought it live last night at midnight, my time, Pacific time. So it's on the website. It's on apricitypress.com. I'll link it in the chat just so you all can go see how cool it is if you haven't yet. Oh, it may not actually want to link, but you can just type that in and go there. All of our past issues are on the website as well, so you can go through and see that. And just to jump in the future just a little bit, issue 7 is going to open up for submissions on September 1st, and those submissions will close on January 1st. So if anyone's interested in submitting work again, that's going to be a great time to do that. But if anyone has tea or water, feel free and grab it really quick for our final cheers. Don't feel like you have to if you don't have it next to you. I know we're all at different times. I need my tea right now. So thank you all so much again. Here is to our best issue yet. Thank you. All right. You're welcome to just go and enjoy the rest of your day, and please spread all that, read more of issue 6, spread it around to your friends and family, and just enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.